time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure, so let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Badass Slingshots,
and Mossy Oak. Hey, we're back again this week for another episode of the Up North Journal podcast. Dan?
Yes.
How you doing today, man?
Well, we're a little tired.
Yeah.
We put some. We both put some miles on the treads.
You know, not only this weekend, man, but I went to Indy and back as well.
You did.
I put about 800 miles on during the middle of the week, and then I just got back from up north like you did.
Yeah.
So
Had to go up, open the cabin.
well, how was it?
It was way too short.
Aren't trips like that always too short?
Yeah. But you know what? The weather was phenomenal. Driving there, we hit the line of thunderstorms that came through.
Yeah, I sent you a text. I don't know if you got it. I was like, hey, did you hit them thunderstorms?
We did. But you know what? It was all show and no go.
That's what my buddy at camp told me. He said a lot of booming and a lot of cracking and lightning, but not a lot of rain.
Right. You know,
Yeah.
we're driving and like, oh, okay, it's getting dark. You can see the distinct dark line.
Right.
Like, okay, get ready for it. We can start to see lightning. And then we drove into it, and yeah, it rained, but nothing worth, like, oh my gosh, we got to pull over or nothing like that. It was just turn the windshields on high, slow down a little bit, and we kind of rolled right through it. And
A lot of bark, no bite.
yeah,
Okay.
but which is good. So, but no, it was, and then it got hot yesterday, and
It was hot.
cutting the grass and open the cabin, make sure the water is running, no drips.
Everything well?
Everything was well.
Anything unexpected?
No,
Nothing.
knock on wood.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like you left it.
Just like it was left, the last person that left it, we went in there. You always go in with it. Well, I did have one little issue, but I don't think it was. It's a non-issue in a way. It's a filter. It looks like the replacement filter on the water filter is a smidge longer than the previous one, so it wasn't sealing correctly. But once I pulled that filter out and just did it without it, it sealed.
Okay.
So I think it's just they call it a general filter, but it's not the same general filter, I think.
Right.
So I'll have to do a little finding of those when I'm down here. But you always going with some skeptics. First of all, at the gate, it's like, okay.
What am I going to walk
Breathe
into?
deep and wait, because you're going to... It's about 1/8 of a mile back on the trail. And it's like, okay, am I going to hit any trees?
Right.
First, okay, so you open the gate, you get to the bridge. Bridge is still intact. Good number one. And then you can see down the trail. And we got there when it was light out, and I could see all the way down the trail practically. And I'm like, whew.
Everything's still standing.
Won't have to break out the chainsaw yet.
Yeah.
And then we could pull around the corner, and there's the cabin, and roof was still intact.
Good.
So
Good
then
deal.
we went inside. I hooked up the water, fought with it for a few minutes, and then got that up and running. And so we were in camp. We didn't have to use no heat. Didn't need that. And it was all good to go for the next day of grass cutting, clearing the trail, cutting the grass around the cabin.
Now, when you, this kind of popped in my mind because this is something we do every time we go to our place. When you're leaving, there's a whole series of things you must do to leave. Do you guys have a checkoff sheet of things that have to be done? Do you have like a list, a master list?
You know what? We do, and it's pretty much we know it by heart. And the ones that go up there know it, and we all kind of did it together to develop it.
Okay.
The first couple times we went, okay, let's do this. And we did like XYZ through the cabin, okay? We started at the pump. What do we do with the pump? We do this, 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 and this. Then we go over to you just follow, I guess, in a counterclock motion, and you can set up the water for the cabin.
Okay.
And then the electrical is just depending on it if all the breakers are flipped and the main is off or just the main is off. So
Now, it's just a group of you that do that. Let's say...
And there's a note I leave on the fridge that it says what's on, what's off.
Okay.
On the fridge, it says main is off, water pump's off, hot water heater's off.
Okay.
That's a note I stick on the fridge, just so
Next person that comes in knows what...
That's what switches are off in case you think it's not working.
Right.
Go check that switch.
Now, let's say Deb and the girls wanted to go up and they needed to get stuff going. For whatever reason, you couldn't make it. Do they know how to do it? Or is it just a guy thing? just a couple guys in
If
camp?
if I would show them, they would know how. Mm-hmm. Probably Kelly knows how now because I just showed her.
Okay.
Just because it was me, Kelly, and Gabby that went up.
Mm-hmm.
And she helped me kind of do the whole thing. And I kind of walked her through it I said, you do this. And the last person there, we undo the piping so it breaks the seal and it drains. Mm-hmm. But then we leave it all connected. That's so no Mr. Mouse makes a house in our piping.
Yeah, that would be a bad thing.
That's not a good thing.
Right.
So, but I think with the little, I don't know if they could do it right now, but it wouldn't be something that they couldn't do if I showed them.
Okay.
The only thing is, I think they could do it. It's just a little. It's not really no arm, no over tightening, none of that has to go on.
Yeah, I think it's important for as many people to know stuff like that. I mean, that's what it is. At our camp, we've got a master list.
Yep.
I think there's 25 or 26 things on there.
Right.
Make
this off. This,
yep. Shut this off. You got to do this. Heat needs to be set to this. Make sure you shut off the electric heat in this room, and the water heater, the water.
And that's important, especially when you got a group of people. And for us, basically, there's 5 that all know how to do it. There's more now.
Yeah.
Because we taught our kids and stuff. But when we were doing it first, we all kind of were in on it.
Right.
And we kind of, we do this. Oh, okay.
Right.
Do it this way.
Right.
And there's a couple things that, don't do that again. Mm-hmm. Then there's a couple things we found out that this wasn't draining over here. So we've added like 3 extra connections of drainage areas.
Gotcha.
When, as a matter of fact, Kelly saw that when I was doing the water. She goes, is that water supposed to be coming out of that one? Nope. Close that. So, but no, it's just one of those things. Most important thing is getting the water going. The electric's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, water's probably our biggest concern. Water and heat, leaving certain things on. Even you say electricity, but we leave power turned on in our place because we have to have certain systems running.
Right. Yep.
But if you leave one of the electric baseboard heats on, it can run the power bill up.
Oh.
Or if you don't forget to turn down the furnace, if you're using it in the winter to a certain level, you run your propane out.
Right, you run your propane out, and that's kind of like for our cabin, our A source is wood, our backup source is propane, and when we get up there, usually in November, sometimes in October, depending on how cold it's been, we'll fire up the propane first to warm the cabin up.
Right.
And then go do the other stuff, depending on, usually the water now that it's connected can stay connected till November.
Okay, gotcha.
It won't, very rarely will it ever get cold enough in a long enough period of time that the cabin just heats up enough that it stays okay.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool.
So we got up there, we got the grass cut, trimmed the trail back. I'm every year I go up, whether it's vacation or hunting, it's almost like I'll grab the chainsaw, I'll walk the trail, and cut something back just to lessen in case of it falls on the trail.
Okay.
I don't attack any of the big trees or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. Those will happen whenever it happens.
Right.
But so we got that done mid 80s. So but we were playing the tick game.
So that was my next question.
Oh, we had a few riders. Nothing on our persons. So that was good. We had them on our boots, on our pants. Little buggers.
Well, I tried that. I took my can of Promethean or permethrin, however you want to say it. I've heard it called different by the same thing, but just pronounced differently. But I took my can up and I hit my pant legs and my boots.
Okay.
I had one tick on me.
Above the area that you sprayed, or
on my neck, and I figured he dropped off a tree.
Oh yeah.
When I was out walking around or what have you and moving around, but. Yeah, it seemed to do the job.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I might get a can of that for when we go up and just kind of spray from like the knees down.
Yeah.
Because I noticed for us, 95% of the time it'll be between our boots and our knees. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while we'll get one a little higher or on the back. But every time, I know if we go to my cousin's place and we walk into his place, we always get one.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. We got one this year. Sure enough, But yep.
Well, I think keeping that, like you said, keeping the grass cut, that's key.
That was the most important thing, and that's for the mosquitoes as well.
Absolutely.
The dragonflies were having a field day. That was kind of fun. I always love watching those guys. Mm-hmm. But we got the grass cut. It took pretty much 2 lawnmowers going. It was wet in the morning. We cut the grass. Kind of had to do it twice, but that's all right. But no, we got the grass cut. Everything's all set. That took us from about 8 o'clock to about 4 o'clock. And then it was like, all right, we've done enough work now.
Time to kick back.
Time to cool off a little bit. So I had the girls put on their crummy tennis shoes with their pants, and then we waded down the stream and went to go see if we could find anything except getting wet. But it felt good.
Yeah. No fish? Didn't see any fish?
I didn't see any fish.
Any deer? How the deer looking?
Now the deer, I'm going to say cautiously optimistic, because this is the most deer I've seen up there this early. Mm-hmm. And it's a really good sign when you see them moving like that. And there's from when we pull off the highway to the cabin, I always gauge it that by going through that system of roads to get to the cabin, what deer I see. And we seen 4 driving in, and that's good. Back in the early 90s, when it was the heyday of the deer population up there, it was you saw from basically town to there was triple that number usually.
Okay.
But what I saw Friday and Saturday, and then on the property itself, I seen 10. Yeah, 10, because the total number I think was 14. But we seen 10 on the property. A buck, a really good sized deer. He was definitely bigger than the does, and you could tell it, and a lot oranger right now. He was starting to his nubs were starting to split.
Okay.
So that was a good sign. And he just that swagger he has.
Isn't it amazing to watch him? You can tell.
Just that.
You can see them in the way they look, the way they stand, the way they walk.
He came in by camp, and he just had that. He walked towards the cabin and had that swagger. Mm-hmm. It was like, yeah, I'm a buck. Mm-hmm. And you could just physically see him when the other does were around him, the size-wise. Mm-hmm. It was like, wow, that's a pretty good deer. So I was happy to see him. Another great thing I saw was turkey with poults. That was exciting. That was down at my cousin's place. Right off the trail you break to go to his place. She was sitting in the grass, and Kelly was in the back seat, and she said, there was a turkey. And I went, whoa, stop. And she was sitting 10 feet off the trail in high grass, and you could see her neck.
Okay.
And so we backed up really slow, and we stopped, and then she stood up, and then you just saw these little poults running. Mm-hmm. They were pretty small, so they're a couple days old, but they took off into the brush, and then when we left, she was there again. So, and then in the evening, we were sitting at the picnic table by the cabin, and we heard turkeys calling.
Okay.
It sounded like she was. She was calling her poults back.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. I was like, whoa, because Gabby was with us. Is that what I think it is? I said, yeah. So that was good to see. I've seen turkeys, and I've seen them when they're a little bit older, but I've never seen the poults.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. But for being up there less than 48 hours, exciting.
Very cool.
Got a good glimpse. And when I go back up for vacation, I'm going to take the cameras. I'm going to set up. I think my plan is to set up a couple of cameras. I'm going to dump some, because I can dump some corn in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. And then I'm just going to let them go. And I'm going to try to get back up there later in the summer and go see if I can pull them.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was, of course, knock on wood, the weather was fantastic. But too short as usual. But it's got to be done.
Always is.
It is. But no, that was my quick weekend up north, and it was good.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take our first break. We come back, I'll give you a rundown on how my weekend went. So kind of a lot like what you did, getting some work done, things like that. But had a couple little twists and turns along the way. So we'll step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet.
I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters. and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
You know, you should have that intro music for like when we do this on the road again. Or no, not on the road. That's when we do our podcast from when we're out and about. We got to think about when you and I are both
get some theme music just for
when we're both out
traveling.
of town, zipping around the state or wherever you're going to Indiana.
Maybe a little Bob Seger traveling man.
Oh, I can always go for that.
No singing, please, no. Don't go there.
You stopped me.
Don't go there.
But you were up north. Actually, how was your trip to Indiana?
Long, 400 miles one way.
How's Indianapolis? Do you like Indianapolis like I like Chicago?
After this trip, yeah, I do. Yeah. It took me 2 hours to drive 60 miles due to construction and traffic in the middle of downtown, or not down on the freeways of Indy at rush hour. Thank you, very little.
Isn't that awesome?
I hate that place.
Great?
If I'd have had a Barrett 50 cal mounted to the hood of my car, I'd have cleared a path.
Well,
man, I was fuming, but I kept it under control. I didn't say anything bad.
You didn't have road rage?
No, I just sat there and took it.
Good. How's David Boggs doing?
He's doing fabulous.
Excellent.
The Backwater Legacy thing. I think we need to save that for a mini cast.
Yeah,
it deserves its own little thing. But yeah, there was a lot going on down there
Good
for that.
Deal.
So we'll talk about that here in a little while.
So stay tuned, people, for a mini cast.
Absolutely.
But other than that, then you turned around and came home, packed right up, and you headed up north.
Yeah, I got home from down there Thursday night at about, I want to say 10:30. Unloaded the car, went to work the next morning, come home, regrouped, unpacked my bags, packed them back up, and took off Saturday morning up north and got back today. Yeah.
I gotta love those.
And I'm wiped, man. I am tired.
How is... Well, I guess it's not summer yet.
No, not yet.
But it is. How is late spring looking up at the cabin?
We got a lot going on. Got a lot of things happening up there. Animals look great. I've seen fawns all over the place. Last night we sat on the back porch overlooking our rye field and watched 2-3 fawns playing, running around, kicking, doing their thing.
Gotta love that.
You know, and on trail cams I've seen several fawns. I know that our camp manager said he's seen at least 9 different fawns that he knows of specifically in different locations.
Do you know by chance lots of twins or singles or?
I'm not real sure.
Okay.
I know there was a set of twins. He actually watched a set of twins being born 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Matter of fact, he called me as they're being born. He's like, you're not gonna believe what I'm watching right now. And then he started taking pictures with his phone and because it's in his front yard and started sending them to me. So that was cool.
That is really cool.
So no, we much like you driving up, you're wondering, okay, what's a fawn drop going to be like? And we're going to see a lot of deer. What are you coming into? Even though I do spend a lot of time up there, you always wonder. We had a big logging project going on, and that was one of the main reasons I was going up, checking on that to see how it was what I thought it was going to be. Was it worse? Was it better? All that. But yeah, driving in, we saw a deer look, like a yearling, a small yearling, and it still had spots. I'm like, boy, that's a big fawn. I was like, he's been eating these Wheaties.
Yeah.
Or in the wheat field.
Got the old wheat going.
So, that was pretty exciting to see a fawn that was already getting ahead of the game. So
that's always it's always a good feeling when you see that, and then you get that sinking feeling when you're into October and you're seeing one that it was late born,
right?
And it's like, ooh.
Well, that's the other thing. Looking at our trail cam photos, I was looking at them on the way home today.
Oh, okay.
I had my daughter Mackenzie and her husband with me, and I had her driving home. So I'm on the laptop, had all of the trail cam photos, and I'm sifting them as we're driving home, and we still got. As of recently as this week, there's still pregnant does running around, and I'm like, man, we're gonna have a second drop.
You're gonna have technically a late drop, right?
Late drop, yeah. So, and that goes back into our QDMA, deer or doe harvest.
Yep, and we talked about that, and and that goes back to the predators too, right?
Yeah. Oh, and we got some stuff to talk about that too. But so yeah, we got on the property, got everything unloaded and got ready. And the first thing was our camp manager, John, come over and he's like, okay, let's go take the drive. He said, no, let's shock you. Let's rock your world, so to speak, because I've switched hunting areas. And the main area that's getting cut is my old area, my old hunting area. And it butts right up next to the new area that I'm hunting now. And, is it going to be bad? Is it going to be better? All this stuff's running through my mind. And I showed you kind of a quick little pic of the one area. And as I'm pulling up, I'm like, wow, is that open? It's open. It's they cut a lot of trees.
It's amazing
what you can see once you do that.
It's amazing because that happened by us last year. It almost just exactly how you said it. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it wasn't a bad wow. Not for me, it wasn't.
It was. It's almost you're used to trees, and all of a sudden, whoop.
Yeah. Well, and pulling in there across the clover field and looking at the other side, and I'm like, okay, well, where's the point? There was a point sticking into the field of where there were trees, and you go around the point, and that was kind of like a little causeway that took you back to another field.
And
well, there's no more point. It's gone. You can see the other field, and you can see the other end of the other field. You can go to a couple places, and you can see 2 or 3 fields that were 2 or 3 different hunting areas.
And like you showed me, your 2-track is now a 20-foot wide dirt
landing area for logs.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is pretty shocking on that aspect. Those are some big machines going in after those trees.
And they just got started.
Now, how long? What's the estimated? How long do you think they're going to be there?
They have to be out there by July 1st.
Oh, out by July 1st.
Yeah, they got another job, so they're going to hit it hard the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so you got 2 weeks left of them. Okay.
And I already know the direction they're going and what they're going to hit it real hard this week. So when we get back up there again, we're going to see
some more,
another big shock. Yeah,
some more clearing.
Well, and the other thing is, now there's going to need to be adjustment of hunting blinds.
Yep.
Because
you just can't stay in the same spot, right?
Well, we've got our club rules state we got 250 feet between blinds, or 250 yards. 250 yards. As a safety boundary. Well, 250 yards sounds like a long way, especially when you got trees between you and you can't see the other blind. Whack those out, and it's like, hey, how you doing over there? It's
especially when you're talking high-powered rifles.
Yeah, so there's going to need to be some adjustments. People are going to need to move a couple of things and kind of get squared away. But
will that be an easy move?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We actually camp manager and I talked a lot about that, and I've got some ideas I'd like to try to run by some of the guys and see if if we can make some things work. They'll make it better for everybody. One of the other things you're looking at is movement into my new area. I started looking at location. The area that I've hunted for the last 2 years, it was like a common area. Well, now I flip-flopped and swapped. And there's a spot in there, and I kept trying to figure out, how am I going to get a blind in here? Where am I going to put it? And I spent probably an hour in an area that's probably no bigger than 2 acres. Maybe
trying to figure out where you're going to put this.
Maybe 3. It's a little sanctuary.
Trying to put it in, or trying to maneuver it into position?
Trying to figure out where to put it.
Oh.
And use it tactically to get into without really disturbing anything. And it's a real unique spot. Very unique and very cool spot. And I've seen a lot of deer. Seen some really big bucks on trail cam. Saw a big buck last year there hunting. I only seen him for about 5 seconds. And when I saw him out of the tree stand, that's what got me to thinking. It's like, okay, how can I hunt over there where he was at?
How can I get over to where he is at?
Right? And see across this little opening. And I mean, really, it's like 50 yards wide.
So is this a bow or a gun or both?
Set up for both.
Okay.
Different solutions for both. It's very very cool, unique little spot. But those are some of the things that you're trying to work with other people and figure out how you're going to put things where you can set and be safe. And like you said, getting over that shock factor for some of the older people there.
What's going on?
And it's like, whoa. I mean, it is a shock factor when you see that. But like I said, the other thing is the logger is really doing a nice job with the tops, and we're leaving them to help with the regen of the seedlings and everything that are coming up. And then what we're looking for is or what he's doing is squashing them down so they don't stick up. They're not way up in the air and all gnarly and twisted.
Oh, he's squishing them to compact them down lower for the animals.
Well, yes
or
and
to
no.
seed.
Well, both, but to keep them, just to help break them down a little bit. I mean,
Faster.
he's not driving over and just ramming them into the ground,
No.
because when you do that, then it doesn't guard the new shoots popping up from the deer, nipping the tops off.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, it's not unsightly at all,
Well, that's cool. And it's important because you have good loggers and you've got bad loggers.
Mm-hmm. You've experienced that.
And I've experienced that. Bad loggers. Mm-hmm. But if you got good loggers, they will do within reason what you ask them to, and they'll help you, and because it benefits both of them, really.
Sure.
They've got a reputation to uphold.
Yep.
And again, small industry, you get a bad name, it follows you like wildfire.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
it's but yeah, that part of it, I was pleasantly surprised.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Let me put it that way. Yeah, there was a wow factor. I was like, whoa, wow.
But a little wow now is maybe a bigger wow down the road.
Well, I've seen areas that we logged, 7, 8, 9 years ago, and I already see what they look like now.
And it's so fast how it regens.
Absolutely.
I know even when a forest fire goes through and they come in and they clear that off, the regen of that alone is just amazing what can happen. As soon as that sunlight gets down to the new guys, just
pops it right up.
It does.
And that's what we're hoping that we're going to see here in the next 2 to 3 years. We're going to see a quick little spurt. It's going to take a year or two to get to actually see something, and take some time to get up and get moving on it. But our forest there it's mature, and we've got jack pine there, and the jack pine, once they reach maturity, they don't keep growing; they just die.
Yep, they die off, and
at that point, it becomes firewood or fuel for a forest fire. It's not worth anything, so why not cut it?
Might as well get the money and use out of it now.
Exactly.
That's the whole when you talk about the forestry project and having that plan. Mm-hmm. That's crucial to know when that your time period is for that.
We hit it just right for that. We hit it. We just got the beginning stages of the spruce budworm disease that's hitting our spruce trees. And since last year when I hunted deer season, I started, and I talked to one of our members about it the other day, and we both commented, it's like, are you starting to see quite a few dead trees around and blowovers? And he's like, yeah. He says, more than we should. And yeah. So it's starting, just becoming noticeable. So we've got this just in time to nip it in the bud.
Nip it in the bud, absolutely. It's kind of a good thing. And it's good the other members are seeing that as well.
Yep.
They're just,
It's tough,
It is.
Trying to get everybody on the same page and work towards a common goal. But in the end, it's I think everybody in their heart knows it's something that needs to be done. It's just...
It is.
It just takes...
It's always hard to change,
pain. Yeah,
right?
There's a little pain along the way.
There is.
So
absolutely.
But, that was pretty much it. Did my trail cam thing, and... Like I said, sat on the porch last night and watched deer frolic through the field.
There wasn't a cloud in the sky last night, was there?
Beautiful. Well, up there, just a few.
Was
just
there
enough
a few?
to add a little color. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I thought I saw the sky was. I really wasn't paying attention to the clouds, to tell you the truth. Last night, it was quiet, which was nice.
Yeah.
Didn't hear no coyote or wolf activity. So
you know what? I want to throw a little bit in on that. We come back next segment. I wanted to run something by about some things that I found.
Oh, okay, I can do that.
All right. Well, let's step outside, take another break. We'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters. And the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Hey, back for our third segment of the show here.
You know, I was up north and I just realized I really didn't take no pictures, and they probably wouldn't have came into focus, would they?
No. You got your phone from work, you got everything covered up, huh?
Yeah, that's what happens when you go into high priority areas.
Yeah, they don't want you. I'm surprised they even let you take your phone in there.
Well, you got to be able to have communication.
Oh, okay.
Just don't take any pictures of what you see.
Gotcha. You got to put the tape over them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you, on the other hand, were able to pull your trail cameras.
Yeah. We pulled photos again.
You were sitting in the car, cruising through them with your laptop.
Yeah, on the way home. Yeah.
Isn't it nice to have somebody else driving when you can do things?
Yeah, because I got to sleep after that.
Amen to that.
But
so what? Anything jump out at you on?
Yeah. We had a couple interesting things. Had a nice looking coyote, if there is such a thing.
Not like the last one you showed with mange and
yeah. This was a pretty big coyote. I figured. I'm trying to remember. I think the females are bigger than the males, but it was a real nice looking coyote as far as the hide and fur and everything. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'd like to put you through the tannery here, the tanning process.
Why not, right?
So we can talk about that on a minicast too. I forgot we got that going on.
Oh yeah.
So the big thing that really jumped out at me, I was looking for fawns. You know, I wanted to really see what kind of fawn recruitment we had this year.
Okay.
And I think, I'm trying to remember if it was every camera. I'm just thinking, okay, the two front ones we had fawns on. The one by the lake, we had fawns on that one. I want to say, like, all but 2, 3, or 4 of them that weren't my cameras, but I was servicing for one of the members, had fawns on them.
Nice.
You know, everything that I'd put out, I think had fawns on them.
Okay. Well, that's a good sign.
But I take that back. I was checking one of our members' cameras that he asked me to check, and there was a fawn on it, but it wasn't doing very well.
Uh-oh.
I'm flipping through and I'm looking, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm like, what in the world is that? That's a bobcat. Oh, wait, that's a fawn in its mouth.
A bobcat?
Yeah, a bobcat had killed a fawn and was cruised across right in front of the camera.
Going to take dinner home.
Yeah, it was a night picture. I forget what time of night it was, but, you know, it's part of nature. It happens. But
and that's part of the predation, right?
Yeah.
That's, you know, you caught a bobcat on camera earlier.
Yeah, and I'm
just getting dinner.
Well, that's the thing. I was wondering. It was, probably 150, 200 yards away from where I photographed it, the bobcat.
Oh, yeah.
On my camera, and then on this camera from one of our other members. Yeah, it was probably about that far, but it could have been the same cat. You know, I don't know.
I'm thinking so.
Pretty good sized cat.
And if I remember right, going back to the predation part, bobcat season, you're allowed one a year?
I'd have to check.
Okay.
I have checked previous years, but yeah, it's a trapping season too.
It's a trapping season.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So
you got this bobcat with a fawn.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Had some bear.
Oh,
yeah, had some bear.
Cool.
And actually, I got 2 different photos of a bear that was during the day, like 10:30 in the morning. One was at 8:30, one was 10:30, broad daylight.
No, he's out.
I was like, he was out cruising, out in the open. You know, which I was like, wow, okay, that's interesting.
Not your typical bear situation.
Yeah, don't normally see that. Pretty good size, you know, and so that kind of grabbed my attention. Our bucks are starting to come into velvet. You know, it's nothing substantial just yet.
No, they should. What are they? Yeah, you know, but
we're going to start seeing some quick growth here in the next.
They can
month.
grow an inch a day, and if you got the right foods out there.
Yeah, well, you know, and one thing I looked at that really surprised me, near where the bobcat had killed the fawn. That the field that gentleman hunts on, and then a field in my area now, my new spot that we planted a Ruska rye or a Roostock rye last year, and we mixed it with mammoth red clover.
Okay,
and that is really taking off. Now, they're not on the rye anymore, but the rye is probably 2 foot tall.
Okay,
and the clover is down below, and it's about 4 to 6 inches tall. And that's what the deer are on now. They're on that clover. So the rye allowed that clover to get up and grow and kind of protect it a little bit.
I was going to say, so the rye is acting as like a cover to get that clover to grow.
Yeah.
As opposed to getting gnawed off right away.
Yeah. Well, and it helps. I forget which one it is. I think it's the clover helps fix the nitrogen in the soil for the rye to grow. I think that's the way I had heard that. But we planted them together, and it's working really well so far. It's really showing some good progress. And there was another point to that I was going to try to make, and I forget. Oh, with the rye being tall, 2 foot tall approximately, maybe a little taller. We're not cutting that yet. We're going to cut it and till it into the soil to help build the soil.
And keep the nutrients in the soil.
Yeah, but we're not going to do that until fawning season's over with.
Right, because 2 feet high, that's a perfect...
Oh, they love that stuff. They walk into it and they disappear.
Yeah.
So, it helps with predation. It gives them a little cover. In the past, when we've had that mowed, the person on the tractor has to really watch what they're doing because they'll run right over top of a fawn because a fawn will hold tight.
Oh,
until you step on them.
Right.
So, you don't...
So you're just going to leave it alone until after fawning season and say, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
usually,
a good call.
I think it's usually about the middle of July we cut that, usually, okay. I'm thinking.
Well, you might want to think about that if you're still seeing those pregnant does.
Yeah, it's that part was probably the most concerning thing that I saw on trail cameras, was the does that were still showing that they hadn't dropped yet.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the dates on the cameras, like, well, how do you know? Well, I've got my cameras dated, and I'm seeing stuff this week.
That's why it's important when you do trail cameras and when you're able to get the date and time.
Yeah.
Set it.
It's important stuff. Well, and running it with the Deer Lab. We need to set that. So.
Yep, absolutely. That's part of it as well.
So it's going to be interesting to kind of figure out and start looking at trail cam photos on the next pick to see how late these does are dropping. They're still fat and saucy. So
right, exactly. So stay tuned on that one.
So,
but that rye field in the Mammoth Clover sounds to be like a big hit on the.
Yeah, it's working really well. Cool. I'm really pleased the way that turned out. Sometimes you hit on something that works.
That's right. So. Any thought of planting like those the turnips?
Yeah, actually we mixed turnip in last year.
Oh, okay.
In a field with the rye, and the deer tore it slap dab up.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You couldn't walk in that field without putting your foot in a track.
Wow.
Yeah, they kept it mowed down. And actually, we're gonna experiment, I think, this year with maybe doing a mix on a field. Planting part of it in rye, part of it with maybe some brassica, maybe part of it with some turnips. So.
Oh, cool. I've seen several times how turnips work.
Yeah.
Seem to be a good.
Yep.
Late season.
It's it does. Once that frost hits, it just seems like it just turns them on. Them sugars come into the leaves, and the deer just seem to hit them hard.
All over it.
Yeah, so, we're experimenting with some things, try to see, what works and what doesn't work.
Well, that's the whole thing. You know, it's trial and error. Like you said, you stumble upon something that works.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, okay. All right, well, I'll tell you what, let's step outside. We'll take our last break. We'll come back and wrap up the show. We'll be right back after this.
The 2015 Dream Season Decree is a deadly combination of speed and precision. It's built for the moments when time stands still. When the only thing that will break the silence is an arrow slicing a clean path to the kill zone. The bow of your dreams is a nightmare for big game. This is PSE's Decree. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. Kind of wrap things up for the week. You know what? It's getting to be about the time of year where we need to get out and do a little bow fishing. We've talked fishing. Was it last week we talked a little bit about fishing?
Talked fishing week before that.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked bow fishing.
Yeah.
We talked about getting out.
Yeah.
We talked about your boat getting ready.
Yeah, actually, I still got to build the deck on that thing, but I got it running finally, so that's good.
But that's on a boat. But there's some people out there that just walk up a stream and sling arrows and get a whole bunch of fish.
I've done that one time. I did that with a buddy of mine, Jerry Long, over in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did some nighttime fishing on the boat, but we also walked a stream one day.
Oh, you did walk a stream. Okay.
Well, it was a flooding, kind of, but yeah.
But you could walk it.
Yeah, walking along.
Is that like totally different than being in a boat?
We didn't get in the water. We were on the banks, but somebody that did get in the water was Mar and Cody.
Yeah, they did. And if you've been paying attention on our Facebook page, Mara released a video of it.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty cool. She's up to over 7,000 people viewing this video of her down in Ohio walking the stream for Longnose Gar.
Yeah, yep.
And they slayed them.
They did. They put the smackdown on them. Pretty cool. I've never walked a stream and shot fish. Everything I've done walking a stream has been either with a casting rod, fly fishing or spin caster. So I've never waded and shot with a bow. So
pretty cool though. She did a very good job. I think there was 4 of them total.
Yeah,
they walked up. Man, I don't know how many they got. I didn't see an official number on there, but
they were. If you remember though, towards the end of the video, they were dragging them all behind them.
I know, wasn't that cool? On the stringer upstream, I think it was Cody dragging the fish, and then they had him out on the back of the car, and they really smacked him down on that, and I think that only happened for a short amount of time.
Okay,
I think
we'll have to get her on and talk about it.
Yeah, we'd have to get her on and get all the info on that, but she did a great job doing that video.
Yeah, I don't know that I would. I don't know. I don't think a gar would bite you or anything like that, but it's just you think about a gar pike and
that big long snout.
Yeah, and the teeth, and it's like, well, okay, you're in there with them, and
you never know. I would assume potential's there.
The stream wasn't deep either. It didn't look like.
No, it didn't look deep at all. The most I seen was
knee deep,
and but yeah, it was. I'm sure there's deeper pockets, but you're right. They gotta. Well, I'm sure if you get close enough, they'll bite you.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'll tell you what. If you guys hadn't seen the video yet, go over to our Facebook page and check the video out there where her and Cody are shooting gar.
Absolutely, a great little video and a fun time to be had by all.
Yeah, definitely, pretty cool. So, but you know what? We got another video over there. We've talked about it just a little bit, but something we need to get out to the folks.
Yeah, we're in the final week.
Yeah, the final push for our Black Eagle arrow giveaway for the
half dozen vintage arrows.
Yeah. So if you want to get in on that, you got to watch the video to understand what you have to do to get put in the drawing for that. So we're not going to give it away right here, but go watch the video. We explain it all, and
we do.
You can get registered for that. So
every time I watch that video, it makes me want to shoot.
Yeah. Well, I need to break the bow out again here pretty quick.
Yes, you do.
It's been a couple weeks now, so.
So do I.
It won't be long, man. We'll be hanging tree stands and doing
shooting. You already talked about having your mind into where you're going to place blinds. So
yeah, well, in that little sanctuary that I was talking about, the blind I was talking about, it was actually is a box blind. We're going to elevate it and put it up. I don't know, 4 or 6 feet on a platform. And
this blind hasn't been made yet.
Don't know if I'm going to move one of my old ones from an old spot over or build a new one. I'm kind of leaning towards maybe building a new one and customizing it because I do want to make it to where I can shoot a bow out of it as well and get it high enough off the ground where I can actually put a compartment underneath it. So if I would like to sit on the ground and shoot one that way, I can do that too.
There you go. I think you need to make it so the roof opens up so you can fly your toy out of it and get an aerial view.
Yeah. Okay, we got the new toy. We'll talk about that on a mini cast.
That's right, we will.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. But no, I spent a lot of time in that little sanctuary. And the best way to describe it, man, it's 50, 75 yards square. It's kind of square across both ways, and it's surrounded with immature white pines. They're
okay.
Some of them are 5 feet tall up to 20 feet tall, and in the spot where I'm looking they're about 12 feet tall, and they're not real big, so I can take and bend them.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, I don't want to cut them. If I took and bent them over, lassoed them, and lashed them down and curved them, they'll grow that way.
Yep.
And then that will in turn create cover in front of me. Bend them down where they're below the window.
Yep, exactly.
And putting them right in the middle of one spot where it lines it, because man, I'm telling you what, there's a couple 3 game trails that kind of intersect in that area that is just incredible.
Yeet.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm really looking forward to it. So.
Well, that's all. That goes back to how often do you think about hunting?
365.
Yeah, pretty much.
24/7.
Pretty much.
You know, I put a picture up there about, you know, here I am in northern Michigan, a little R&R recharging my batteries, and our buddy over in England, Matt Goodlife, posted, he's like, well, what kind of fish are in that lake? And I told him, and he says, you need to forget about the deer and pick up a fishing rod.
Absolutely.
You know, and yeah, I do want to get out and do some fishing, but I just can't quit thinking about managing that deer herd, man. It's just,
that's
it's
like
in my
when I
blood.
went up to the cabin, as soon as I started seeing deer, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and then when I started seeing them on the property, it's like I started, okay, where did I see them?
Right.
You know, okay. And it gets into your blood. That's where it stays.
Now, something that just popped in my head. You're talking about seeing deer, and you said you saw a buck up there, and he had the red coat already. That
he was very orange to the does.
Orangish looking. Now, are your does still carrying that winter coat? Are they? I call it molting. I don't know what the technical term is, but when they lose their hair,
they need a brush.
Yeah, you see patches of it come out.
No, they were in that changing phase.
Okay,
but he was already. You could tell the mature in him that he was like, yeah, I've done this before. Yeah. I've got my new coat.
Yeah,
this is the way it is.
Sharp dressed man. He's
sharp dressed guy. Yep. And he was over. There was a doe feeding on a tree, and he went right over there and stuck his nose right into next to her and said, you know, okay, these are now my leaves.
Yeah, you can leave.
Yeah,
these are
she
my
did.
leaves. Yeah.
You know, and another doe came in and kind of looked, and she turned around and went the other way.
Right.
But eventually, the two does, he was with two other does, and this kind of makes me believe that they're related somehow. Mm-hmm. Because when they took off down the trail, he ate for a little bit, but then he went socially after him. Just, all right, we're going this way.
Right.
You know, it wasn't a competition thing or going like that. So
right.
That tells me they're in the same social family.
Right. Gotcha.
I'm sure there's a bigger doe that probably his mom is around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure she's probably got kids.
Mm-hmm. You know, that was an interesting thing, too, is there's one instance we drove up in this little small food plot where, like I said, we're checking some stands, taking some GPS readings and things. As we come around this little corner, I mean, we weren't 75 yards from this doe, and she just stood and looked at us. And she was on the edge of the field. When I say on the edge of this in the field, she was maybe 5 feet from cover. Okay.
Yep.
You know, I mean, right on the edge. She stood and looked at us, and so you know, we just kind of inched forward. It's like, okay, when's she going to break? Dude, we got within 25 feet of her.
Really?
And we shut the motors on the quads off. We had three quads, and my buddy John, his backfired. And when it went pow, she turned and ran. You know, I was like, hey, he's firing a gun at us.
Shooting at me.
But she held tight. And I said, okay, that tells me. We started looking. Where's the fawn?
Exactly.
Or fawns.
Yep.
We knew
they're close by.
Yep. But they held tight.
She's making sure you guys keep going.
Yeah.
You know, just motor on your way. And
so it's interesting watching, you know, the way they act and react to you at different times of the year and what they're doing. You know, it's so you can learn a lot by getting out there this time of year and just taking a walk through the woods.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, a ton of information walking through the woods.
You know, getting your trail cams out now, setting them up. You know, getting ready. I mean, I posted a really good article from Deer Lab, one of their blogs, talking about placing cameras now versus changing them throughout the season in different places and locations of where you should move them. You know, we talked about leaving cameras out all year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, at certain times of the year, they need to be in certain locations.
Yep.
You know, so it's just something you can overlook so easily. It's like, well, I'm seeing deer here, and now I'm not seeing deer. Well, why is that? Well, start thinking about time of the year. What's going on?
Time of the year, weather.
Yeah.
Because, like, especially in my area up in the UP, when that heavy snow moves in, you head to the swamp where it's not as thick.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
of snow.
Well, and we're looking now, you know, it's going to be real quick here. These bucks are going to start cruising together. You're going to start seeing bachelor groups.
Yep.
They're going to start breaking off from these does because mama does don't want them around the babies.
Well, that's what's happening, and you'll see it here in Michigan. The last month or so, you're seeing a lot of more roadkill.
Exactly.
Because that's what's happening.
My buddy John and I just talked about the exact same thing. Yeah, deer, they're starting to change their patterns now.
They're you know, like you said, mom's kicking them out, saying, "Hey,
yeah,
you got new kids are coming in.
Yeah.
You're out of here."
Yeah.
So everybody's now getting disheveled. The bucks are being kicked out. The other does of the family are being pushed out for now.
Yeah.
They'll all come back together again. But like you said, then the bucks will go into their bachelor groups and say, "Oh, we're kind of here."
Yep.
But oh yeah, definitely. Time of year is very important. You know, when we get closer to the fall and they start get that feeding thing clicks on.
Yeah. Exactly.
When you know the weather is going to turn here. But right now, they're changing coats, they're dropping fawns, they're doing all the...
Building antler.
Yeah. Yep, eating what they can get.
The next project I think I'm going to try to tackle is putting up those mock scrapes and licking branches that I...
on your tour there.
Yeah, when I was up with Perry Wood up there at his place, and he showed me that. I've already started thinking about locations of where I'm going to put them. I'm going to wait the logging project's over with because, and where I'm at, my new area, part of that is going to get logged. Not a lot of it, but part of it is.
Right.
And I've got some destinations of where I want to put 2 or 3 of those and try them out this year. So I'm going to wait till that's over with and then get some of them put in the ground and, post put up and get them ready and get them rocking.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Good deal.
Well, anything else you want to throw in on this week?
No, just it's great weather. Get out, enjoy the outdoors, whether it be fishing, ORVing, boating, kayaking, you name it. Get outside. I mean,
take a hike.
Take a hike. The last day or so been out has been gorgeous.
Yeah, seen blueberries starting to form up north at our place.
The raspberries are blooming.
Yeah, so the blueberries aren't far behind. They're forming. They're not ripe yet. They're still real small, but those will be coming on. So,
do you pick those?
No, the bears usually do.
Well, you tell Yogi to move over. You want some bears.
Yeah. Well, Boo Boo's going to leave him alone. I'm going to leave his picnic basket alone.
Okay, but no, get outside, enjoy it, man, and also don't forget last week of our giveaway.
Yep.
Check it out.
Yeah, get involved in that. Go watch the video on our Facebook page. And if you're listening to this off iTunes, give us a review over on iTunes as well. Don't forget the guys over at OPC. We got a lot of great shows over there as well. So check us out on the Outdoor Podcast channel, along with 8 or 9 other great shows over there. So that'll do it for us this week, folks. We'll be back again next time. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
Badass Slingshots,
and Mossy Oak.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.